Here's Brody Brazil.
Well, this would certainly qualify as an interesting development if, in fact, it turns into a reality. As of this point, we'll call it a possibility because of the given circumstances. We do know that the Buss brothers were recently laid off from their roles with the Los Angeles Lakers. They still maintain a partial ownership, a fractional ownership of that franchise, but now they're looking to do something else. They're looking to invest in different professional sports entities. We also know the Athletics could certainly use a cash infusion as they try and piece together their ballpark on the Las Vegas Strip. So could these two parties unite at a moment where one is looking for something and the other might have just the answer? This is all being reported, by the way, in the Los Angeles Times. Bill Shakin does a tremendous job. Big fan of his work. He's always on these interesting stories well before they actually come to fruition. So I trust the reporting here by Bill Shakin. I'll link to the article below. Bill says, quote, Joey and Jesse Buss, fired last month as Lakers executives, have explored pursuing an ownership stake in baseball's Athletics, according to two people familiar with the discussions but not authorized to speak publicly about them. So not just a source, multiple sources here coming from a reputable name, reporting, and organization here. The discussions were described as preliminary, and it is unclear whether they might result in a deal. Jesse Buss did not reply to a message seeking comment. Well, of course, if you're Jesse, what are you going to do? Confirm this, deny this? Either way, you can't necessarily win. You can only really lose if you reply, if you open up the door to conversation, if in fact there's something going on, or if there's nothing going on and you want to leave the door open for something to happen. So no surprise that Jesse did not respond, but it all kind of gives you a telling story, right? Like there could be something going on. Otherwise, it's easy to deny. In terms of that Lakers departure, let's first go over where the Buss siblings are at, why they really might be interested in something like this. It was just recently announced on the 20th of November. It's part of the Dodgers takeover of the Lakers. The Lakers were recently purchased for $10 billion. Mark Walters, who is very much in charge of running the Dodgers, now is looking at the Lakers and saying, how can we do something similar over here? So restructuring, reorganizing, making moves, trying to get the Lakers probably to have the same success as the Dodgers have enjoyed in recent years. Joey Buss is 41 years old. He was the alternate governor of the Lakers, also VP of Research and Development. Jesse Buss, 4 years younger, he's 37. He was the Lakers' assistant general manager. And again, both of these individuals are going to maintain their minority ownerships in the Lakers. So they've got their connection there. They've got their literally investment in the Lakers. It's a long family history. Yeah, Jeannie Buss remains governor of the Lakers. So there's also that weird connection that two siblings were kind of ousted. Jeannie remains as governor for now and up to this point, and we'll see what the Walters side wants to do here with total restructuring of the organization. Jerry Buss, their father, Jeannie, Jesse, and Joey's father, he bought the Lakers for $67.5 million back in 1979. And you know what the Lakers turned into: Showtime and a multi-billion-dollar franchise, worth about $10 billion. Jerry Buss passed away, I want to say a little more than 10 years ago, so it's largely been in the hands of his children in terms of caretaking of the Los Angeles Lakers. But now two of them are out, and they're looking for something to do. That's why, back in September, the Buss brothers formed Buss Sports Capital. They said about Buss Sports Capital, our vision is to really go after strategic investments and good partners, specifically sports-related investments. Well, again, you see what I'm doing here, just putting together the pieces. Some people who want to invest in sports and a sports team that could really use that cash infusion right now to help build their ballpark in Las Vegas. Buss Sports Capital is not going to compete with other interests in the Lakers or the NBA. So of the big four, they're even crossing off the NBA. So now we're only talking about hockey, baseball, or football, right? So this is getting very specific of where they might be wanting to invest their money. This is our first step towards where the future of sports is going to lead us. It is exciting to see what growth opportunities exist, particularly opportunities that we can add value to given our skill sets. That was Joey Buss to ESPN back in September. So they kind of maybe knew this was coming. They started to found this next step, forge this next step of their own evolution. They get let go by the Lakers. And now maybe this process of investing is going to get accelerated here. On the flip side, you take a look at where the Athletics are at. And the number one thing is not even funding their payroll, which also might change. To be quite honest, if there is going to be implementation of a salary cap, a hard cap, and potentially a hard salary floor in baseball, the Athletics are going to be one of those teams where the hard salary floor is definitely going to cost them hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars over upcoming decades. They don't spend nearly as much as anybody else, so that alone is a spending consideration. There's also obviously the ballpark, which at last opportunity was pegged right around $2 billion. Now, it started as 1.5, then 1.75, now upwards of $2 billion. And quite honestly, it feels like only a matter of time before there has to be some official announcement that it's probably $2.25 billion. I know that the A's in a construction project, they're waiting to hear that maximum high-value cost, that maximum price point that cannot and will not be exceeded. You can only really get to that once you start construction. I don't know that they have that number yet. I don't know it's been revealed to them. I don't know that they're ready to even announce that. But $2 billion was, at last check, a lot of people are estimating that even that figure might actually need to be higher than $2 billion. So then you get into the potential funding structure. We know that $380 million is already spoken for. That was SB1 a couple summers ago. State of Nevada and the county, they're contributing $380 million worth of value. The Fisher family, owner of the A's, going to get a $300 million loan from Goldman Sachs. And then $1.1 billion, up to $1.1 billion has been pledged by either John Fisher and or his siblings or family. We don't exactly know where that's coming from, if that's actually in place. We know that there have been letters written saying that it's spoken for, they're good for it, but there's been no actual maybe confirmation of that, official confirmation of that from outside sources. But we also know that the San Jose Earthquakes, one of John Fisher's other assets, the MLS soccer team, still up for sale. And that's a huge opportunity if, in fact, the sale goes through at potentially like $500 million or more, or even a little bit less. But that's a cash infusion that could certainly make this project go from a question mark to very much squared away and taken care of. In a second, I'll get to the number I think they're short on this ballpark right now. And by the way, if you do this math, $2 billion of the cost, and this is the funding structure here, this adds up to more than $2 billion, but that's the whole point here. I think we're all assuming that it's going to cost a little bit more than $2 billion. So the loan, the state and the county chipping in, the Fisher family saying that they're going to put in $1.1 billion. But again, I mean, if you're waiting for that sale of the Earthquakes, it hasn't happened yet. I don't know that it's immediately on the horizon. There's certainly some possibility. That would grease the wheels here a lot more, but so would private investors. And that's the point about the Bus siblings here potentially investing if they're really talking about throwing in $500 million. Are they good for it? Do they have that? Do they want to put that towards a baseball franchise? Do they want to jump in to a franchise where they would really not be any majority owner? They would not be in a majority owner situation, right? This was their family before, and they were minority owners. Now they'd be jumping into somebody else's team entirely. But $500 million is what the idea was for the A's in terms of private investors. We know some of them. We know Aramark has jumped in. We know that there have been a couple other individuals and entities that have chipped in, but we don't know specifics. How much of this is actually cash? How much of it is other values or assets? The bottom line is, if the Earthquakes sell, or if the Bus brothers jump in for like $500 million, all of this starts to become a lot more secure than it actually is right now. And let me get to my takeaways here from the outside, right? And I'm not Bill Shaken. I'm just a guy with a YouTube channel. But even I can see that from the outside, all of this makes sense, right? Because of, think about this, the proximity of the Bus brothers based in Los Angeles. Like Vegas is right up the road. It's right up I-15. It's a proximity deal. Like this feels close to them. The situation of, well, they just got let go from the Lakers, and now they're looking to maybe reestablish themselves. Maybe they're looking to jump right back into something else, get right back on the horse, because maybe they feel like, I don't know about ousted being the right thing to say here, but maybe they feel a little bit like they've got a chip on their shoulder because of that. it's an opportunity, right? I don't know how many Major League Baseball teams, certainly they would all be willing to take some money, but I don't know that they're always all open for investments like this in a situation and timing and opportunity like this. And maybe there's some motivation by the Buss siblings to say, you know what, we want to prove ourselves. We want to do something different. We want to step away from the Lakers and try and prove ourselves, our names, our whatever. I mean, they're young people. They're close to my age, just a few years younger, 4, 5, 6, 7 years younger than me. But the point is like, I get that. They're still looking to do something significant here, kind of make some big moves. The ballpark, I feel like, is about $700 million just underfinanced, or we can't figure it out on paper, or nobody can show you the receipts. Nobody can show you this and say, here, look, it's all funded. It's all in an account. Here's the account. It's done. It's not that hard to like prove this, to do this, to say, look it right here, all the money, and you want to speak for it? Do you want to speak for it? It's right there. It's already in an account. We don't have to hope that the markets go up. We don't have to hope that somebody comes through with an investment. It's all right here. We've got it. But I don't think anybody has proven that yet, because I still think they're waiting for external investments just like this. I'll end this video with probably the most obvious thing that some of you have been thinking and possibly screaming out your ears and out your brain while watching this video, or maybe even saying it aloud. I get the criticism here. I understand that John Fisher is the child of parents who founded The Gap. I understand that these are the Buss siblings whose dad bought the Lakers, made a ton of money owning an NBA team for a lot of years, and now these are children of people who did something and established something, and now the kids are trying to, I say kids, they're all much older than that. They're trying to do something here. I get that criticism. I am not saying that. I'm saying I understand. I can predict, like, they have such commonalities, right? In maybe their backgrounds, and maybe that's why it leads them to doing this deal. Maybe there is some connection. Maybe there's some personal side to this. Maybe it's not just business. Maybe that's the reason something like this happens. I'm just saying, from the outside, it all makes sense, but I also understand the criticism and the way this will be perceived and digested, and kind of the, I don't know, instant, negativity that can be thrown towards this because of the background, the situation, and who these people are and what their parents did previous to them. So possible investors, a game changer for this stadium in terms of funding and pushing it through and, I don't know, changing the likes of the organization. Are the A's about to be Showtime on the Strip? They're going to have to operate a little bit differently. But anyway, thought this was interesting. Certainly a development that I did not see coming. But again, from the outside, it all makes sense. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Also, thumbs up while you're down there. Helps me, the video, and the channel. If you're new here, great to see you. Hit that subscribe button. I would love to see you back here for the next one.